Hello, everybody. How is everyone doing tonight? Happy Thursday evening. We're doing another sit-down video today, but it's about a topic that I usually don't go into on this channel. I make a lot of Seahawks videos. This is not going to be a Seahawks video. In recent times, I've been making some Anderson Island property videos. This video is not going to be about that either. Videos about those two things are coming. Believe me, I will be making videos about both those things because in the coming weeks, things are going to get a lot more interesting with both of those things, and there's going to be a lot more to talk about, but today is about neither of those things. Today, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the Seattle Mariners because as of yesterday night, they officially hit the 1/3 mark of the 2020 season. As of last night, they have played 20 games, which in this shortened 60-game season is 1/3 of their games. So I haven't really been a big Mariners video maker because obviously you don't want to make videos after every game because they play 6 days a week. You don't want to make videos after every series even because that'll still be more than two videos a week on average. So I have generally kept my Mariners videos to major occurrences and mostly just talking about them on stream, but I thought it might be a good idea to try to establish some kind of schedule when it comes to talking about this team because the team, good or bad, is interesting right now. They are at a very interesting crossroads, and there is reason to believe that things are about to get better. There's reason to be a little concerned as well, sure, but I thought it might be fun to go ahead and take a look at the state of the union of the team 20 games, 1/3 of the way through 2020. And this is not just going to be a video talking about how well the team is playing, because obviously they're playing poorly. They're playing very poorly. 7-13 makes them the third worst team in Major League Baseball by record. The only two teams in the league with a worse record than the Mariners are the Red Sox and the Pirates. And obviously at this point, it just seems beneficial for this team to tank for one more year, get one more top draft pick, get one more top prospect, and go for broke next year, possibly even the year after, because COVID may have very well knocked our scheduling back a little bit. But this video is not really about that. This video is not really about the fact that the Mariners are a terrible team this year, because that much is obvious. There has been a lot of stuff with this team through the first 20 games that has gotten me excited personally. And what I can say is that this team is clearly trending in the right direction. Will that lead to good results? We don't know yet. But I think that pretty much everything that we could have hoped to have worked out for us over the past couple years since we traded some of our studs and moved on from some of our big contracts, I feel like things, for the most part, have gone very well. So if you look at the lineup, we started out hot. The lineup started out great. Evan White had a 2-hit game early on. He looked like he was coming into his own. We were getting some good stuff out of Tim Lopes early on. Tim Lopez. I don't know how to pronounce these names, guys. I watch Mariners games with the sound off a lot of the time. But, yeah, the offense started off hot, and it's really cooled down lately. But we are seeing some really good play from a handful of players where it matters that they're playing well. These are guys who are going to be part of the future. Dylan Moore has obviously been the biggest surprise. Utility player who I wasn't even really thinking about as being part of the future of this team. He is having the best season of any player with a bat in his hand on this team. His Ops Plus is 177. He's hitting home runs. He's stealing bases. He is having a surprising season to me, and I wasn't even really thinking about him that hard in terms of a guy who might be here for the future, and obviously it's a small sample size, but Dylan Moore has really impressed me so far. Obviously the most exciting thing in Seattle right now is Kyle Lewis. He's having a tremendous start. He's cooled off a little bit. He's got 25 hits on the season, though, which is, I think, top 10 among everybody in the majors, having played in 19 games. He is drawing a good number of walks. His strikeouts are down from last year. He's hitting for power. He's getting players home off the bases, hitting for a high average. We are having a lot of fun with the Kyle Lewis experience so far. He clearly looks like he's going to win Rookie of the Year or be, right there effectively. So, that's exciting for the future. J.P. Crawford, who was a guy who I wasn't in love with when we acquired him, he's 25, so he can definitely be part of the future if he proves he can play. We already know he looks like he can be good on defense. He's had a really nice season offensively so far this year. Not power, but he is getting on base at a very effective clip. He's drawn more walks than he has struck out, which is awesome. And it looks like we might really have something. He is a shortstop, and for a shortstop, you'd say he's doing everything you could generally expect from that position in terms of what he's doing at the plate. So Crawford, I liked him last year, even though I didn't love it when we acquired him. I am liking what I'm seeing from him. And the final piece that's looked pretty good so far is Tim Lopes. He's cooled off a little bit after starting hot, but the numbers are still pretty nice. Still having an effective season. Seems like there's something there with him. To top it all off, you've got two veterans who are having really nice seasons at the plate so far, Kyle Seager and Austin Nola. Nola, I cannot see him being part of the future of this team as anything more than a backup catcher, unless we're just not able to find a really high-level caliber center prospect to put out there in the lineup. Obviously, for a long time, we thought Zunino was going to be that guy. That never panned out. Nola seems like a stopgap, but he's had a great season so far, hitting almost 300, ops plus of 155. And Seager, the one Mariner who I have a jersey of, who I thought was washed, he's not. He's having a great season. He's hitting almost 300. He's hitting for power. He's been clutch. 21 hits in 20 games. I didn't think he had it in him. So there's been some really cool stuff with this Mariners team. The Nola and Seager stuff, I don't know if it's significant. Obviously, if the timeline is that next year is the year we make a run at this, Nola could be a moderately effective part of this lineup. Most catchers don't hit for a lot of big numbers anyway, so maybe I'm wrong about Nola. Maybe he is part of the future. Seager, I'm certainly more skeptical of. But even him, he's proving me wrong so far this year. He's really played well. The shortcomings of the lineup have unfortunately been in the form of guys like Shed Long, who we were kind of hoping might be part of the future, and he still could be. Again, these are small sample sizes. I understand that, but Shed Long has not had a good season so far at the plate. Vogelbach has really fallen off after making the All-Star game last year and really showing some power. I don't really know what to make of Vogelbach right now. I mean, you watch that guy play. You can see how one-dimensional of a player he is at the plate. You can see how there's only one thing you can ever realistically expect him to do well. And right now, it's just not manifesting itself in any positive way. And then you have guys like D. Gordon and Malik Smith, the two corner outfielders who are just complete non-factors at the plate so far this season. Now, D. Gordon, not really part of the future anyway. He's 32. He's been on the team for a while. We know what he is. We know his limitations. I don't think anybody out there is thinking D. Gordon was going to be part of the next good Mariners team. Malik Smith, I've kind of been off his wagon for a little bit, but seeing him struggle so much at the plate so far this season, his ops plus is literally 10. Little disheartening. I think the most frustrating part of the season so far in terms of batters has been Evan White, because I think he's played some pretty decent baseball and it just hasn't resulted in positive results. There are exceptions, of course. He's striking out way too much. And it's good that he gets a season like this to strike out a lot when it doesn't really matter, because even if he was having a good season, I don't think this team would be doing anything. But it's been very frustrating. You can tell that he's frustrated as a player, Evan White. You can tell that things, you can see the good mythology behind what he's doing at the plate on some of these at-bats, and it's just not resulting in hits right now. So hopefully he can work his way out of that. He's the same age as Kyle Lewis. He's obviously a big part of this team's future. The nice thing is we've seen him play really well at first base. He's been great on defense, in my opinion. As near as I can tell anyway, he's been great with the glove. So we at least have that. But hopefully this season allows him to get the kinks out of his game at the plate because, yeah, it's been pretty rough so far. And that's probably been the most maybe underwhelming part of this season so far because he is going to be one of the big dogs. Now, as for where this team is actually bad, like really bad, I mean, we saw it last night. We've seen it in most of the games so far this season. And this is why, before the season started, even though we were facing this 60-game schedule that I knew weird things could happen, I thought it was probably in our best interest to tank. It's our pitching. We have two pitchers who have thus far managed to have average seasons. Marco Gonzalez has been approximately average. Taijuan Walker has been approximately average. They both pitched good enough to not lose, but not necessarily good enough to win overall. They're I don't know. I don't know if they're part of the future. Like I look at Marco Gonzalez and Taijuan Walker, and I think they could be the fourth and fifth guys in a rotation. But past that, I'm not really seeing much. Kikuchi continues to be, in my estimation, a bit of a disappointment. Like I'm not seeing much from Kikuchi that's making me feel positive about his future in Seattle. He's put well below average numbers. Justice Sheffield and Justin Dunn are the young guys who have kind of caught my eye. They're not pitching well. By no means are either of those guys pitching well. They both have an ERA. Dunn's like 4.9 and Sheffield's like 5.3, but they're 24 years old. This is some of their very early action. It's a weird season anyway. I think it's probably easier for the hitters, but both those guys have gotten a few starts now. Sheffield in particular had one really nice start, and I believe he ended up getting the win in that one start. I think he gave up no runs and like 4 hits in 6 innings. Pretty impressive stuff. I like what I see from him. And Dunn, obviously. I mean, both these guys are 24 years old, so they could be part of the future. And from what I've seen so far, I think they really have a good chance to be part of the rotation next year when we're actually trying to be good. But I don't know if I see any of these guys being an overpowering number one. So I don't know who's a free agent next year in baseball, but if there are any overpowering number one pitchers, sign me up for that. And obviously, to talk about the bullpen, I don't know if any of these bullpen guys are going to be able to be part of the future plans for this team. We like last night, we saw the blown lead in the 8th inning. A lot of it's on the bullpen. We have guys like Carl Edwards Jr. was meant to be one of our big relievers, and to me, there's no way he can be part of the future. He has to be a 1-year stopgap, option, and he's honestly actually pitched really darn well so far this season, but I don't think he can be part of the future because he was in Chicago for quite some time, and we all kind of saw how lackluster of a pitcher he was. But maybe I'm underestimating him, and I don't want to say too much damning about this bullpen because nobody in our bullpen has pitched more than 9 innings. Like we have a bunch of guys who have come out there and pitched a few innings, anywhere from like 4 to 8, and I don't want to make any snap judgments of these guys off of that, but we have seen some of these guys before. We do have some guys who kind of intrigue me a little bit, like Nick Margevicius. Hopefully that's it. Nick Margevicius, 24 years old. He's shown some pretty good stuff so far in the 8 innings we've given him. So he's actually our most used relief man, and he has pitched pretty well so far. Other than that, I don't know who else on this pitching staff has stood out to me as being potentially part of the future. And, that's what this team is all about right now, the future. So 20 games in, those are my thoughts. I like most of what I see. My concern is that because AAA baseball didn't happen this year, Kelenic is not going to get the opportunity to progress, which means he's not going to be ready to contribute big next year, which means the plane is going to get monkeyed up a little bit because we were all counting on Jared Kelenic to be about ready to go to the major league to the pros by next year, and I'm wondering if this AAA getting canceled stuff is going to put a damper on that. So I don't know if he's ready. He's probably not ready. Part of me wishes we would call him up just so he can play, but I don't know if that would be good for him, you know. Klenick might be the best young prospect on this team, even over Kyle Lewis, so we really don't want to mess that up. But that's what I got. What do you guys think so far? My main takeaway is that a lot of the young pieces that we've acquired over the last couple of years look promising to me. Again, small sample size, but I like what I'm seeing from a lot of these guys. But who's going to be the number one pitcher? Because I don't see him on this roster right now. And who's going to be the bullpen guys? Because right now I see one, maybe two guys on this bullpen who I like long term. All right. Peace out. Go Mariners. I'm going to go watch and see if the Trailblazers can get in the playoffs or not. Game's just about to tip off. So I know a lot of people who watch my videos are going to be watching that game with much interest. I will be too. Yeah. Peace out.